Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, episode 37, King of Kings, and the final JoJo's Friday. And I don't know how I feel about that. I shouldn't say final. For all we know, by some miracle, we get part 6 right around the corner. I highly doubt that. But for the time being, this will be the final JoJo's Friday for the foreseeable future. We will be getting, I believe, episode 38/9. I think it's going to be like a two-parter, but airing at the same day. We are getting the conclusion to Golden Wind, but it won't be for, I believe, 2 weeks or something like that. I'll keep you posted. You'll see the video for it for sure. I'll let you know. But I don't know. It's bittersweet. We've reached the crescendo, and we've reached the crescendo because, well, let's get into it. You've reached the end of a particular part of JoJo's when you start hearing sound effects show up in the OP. The instant I heard the sound effects show up, I'm like, oh, we're in the end game now, boys. This is where boys become men. is when the sound effects show up in a JoJo's OP. And as if this OP couldn't get more badass with the sudden reveal of the boss pulling a Dio, but the fact that the sound effects are now included, it's so godly, and it's classic. It's such a classic David Pro move for these JoJo's OPs, and it's always exciting, but it's always sort of bittersweet, right? Because when you hear the sound effects, you're like, oh, here we go, time to get hype, but at the same time, the reason the sound effects are coming is because the end is coming. It actually kind of reminds me of when the in Supernatural, you'll always see the road so far, and it'll play Carry On My Wayward Son. You get hype when you hear that song, but you're reaching the end of this particular season, and in this case, we're reaching the end of this particular part, and it's exciting, but it's sort of heartbreaking at the same time. And getting into it, we start off in a pretty scary mode where King Crimson is now back on the offensive. The boss is in full swing, and it looks like for a second I was like, oh, this is it, because Trish's soul starts ascending upwards. So I'm like, oh my god, is Trish gonna friggin' die? No. But then Bucciarati has that moment of not so fast. And I was like, oh yeah. For a second I was like, yeah, Bucciarati, my boy's got this. My boy's got this in the bag. But alas, he does got this. But but alas, a great man has fallen. We've lost many good folks, not only in this part of JoJo's, but in this year, we've lost a lot of good anime characters, a lot of good boys, a lot of good gals. And it's sad having to include Bucciarati in that now, but that send-off, man, that was everything. That was everything to me. Bucciarati, I would love to see somebody do a full character analysis on Bucciarati, because just he might be my favorite. I almost wanted to call him a Joe Bro, but when you think about it, he feels more in a sense, he feels like the main character in a way. Obviously, Giorno's the main character, we know that, but he holds such a force for our gang that it just feels as though because he is the leader, and you just really feel as though he felt as though he were the main character, he was the star. And you know what? He was the star. He was the star in here. You can't see, but I'm pointing to my heart. I'm a little bit more okay with this than I was, say, for Abakio or Narancia, because with those two, I didn't see that coming, and it was sudden and it was cold. Whereas Bucciarati, we've known that Bucciarati was gonna go for a while, and when he said you didn't kill Silver Chariot for a reason, but I'm gonna do it for you. And I was like, oh shit, so Bucciarati goes out a hero, and it's been a long time coming. We knew Bucciarati was on borrowed time for a while now, and I knew as soon as he killed Silver Chariot, that was probably gonna be it. So I'm not as, I shouldn't say torn up because I am really sad, but it wasn't like a gut punch as much as it felt like a heroic send-off to this really amazing character. The only thing that could make Bucciarati more appropriate is if we found out somehow he is connected to the Zabellis. He does feel like he is somehow connected to Shiza. Like, he doesn't, he's... Why do the Joe Bros always gotta die? Like, I don't know. We knew he was gonna go. I'm just glad he got to go out on his own terms and he went out like a hero. And I'm just... Can you be proud of fictional characters? Because I am. I'm proud of Bucciarati. He went out like a total boss. Also, for some reason, I was reminded of the Philosopher's Stone from Harry Potter during the Bucciarati scene, because like when Giorno reaches up and he closes his hand, and when Bucciarati says goodbye, the mist's clear and Giorno's holding the arrow. And I was like, whoa! Like all I thought of was the Philosopher's Stone. Like the way the Philosopher's Stone works is that you can only get it if you're not if you're not actively searching for it. So Harry gets the Philosopher's Stone because he's trying to protect it. And for some reason, like the way it appears and just like the whole, like the arrow like chooses the stand user and like the fact that they're trying to protect it, it did feel like the Philosopher's Stone to me. Like, I know they have nothing to do with each other. I am aware that the two, that Philosopher's Stone and Golden Wind have like nothing in common. But that moment one reminded me of the other in that moment. And now forever, every time I go back to watch Harry Potter, instead of the Philosopher's Stone, I'll wish that he was pulling out the stand arrow. And the instant Giorno gets that arrow, the whole mood changes. Everything about that scene changes the instant he gets it. Because in the beginning of the episode, the boss is on the offensive. He's the one attacking. He's the one trying to get the arrow. As soon as Giorno is pierced by the arrow, well, as soon as Gold Experience is pierced by the arrow, the whole mood flips, and suddenly the boss goes from this insanely scary, oh my god, he's unstoppable, into like, this poor dude is so screwed. And not even poor dude. The boss looks like a punk the instant Gold Experience Requiem shows up. And first of all, before I get into the greatness that is Gold Experience Requiem, allow me to say that the way the arrow goes into Gold Experience's wrist, tell me that didn't look real similar to the way that the stand arrow like pierces Kira in part 4. But like, see, that's the thing, right? Because you know it's not the same arrow, but it is interesting. There's got to be some kind of connection. I don't know necessarily what, but I do think it's interesting that like the arrow goes into the wrist the same way, or like goes into the arm the same way. I don't know, I just thought it was worth pointing out. It's very interesting. Would love to hear what you guys think. But now, allow me to get this out of my system. Yes, Giorno! Gold Experience Requiem! Oh my god, Gold Experience looks so much doper now. Like, Gold Experience always looked pretty cool. Gold Experience Requiem looks so cool. I love it. I love that design. It looks so dope. And again, like, the instant he shows up, you're like, oh, okay. And friggin' just Giorno looking like an absolute boss, like hovering above the air, just looking down at this man who was once so powerful, King Crimson and the boss. These two just like looking down, like, you ain't shit. Like, just such a cool moment. Felt so, like, I don't know, just felt powerful. And then it went from feeling powerful to feeling real trippy. The whole like when we see King Crimson like use his ability, but then like it starts to be, it's just the only way I can describe it is just trippy. Like the time, like it didn't matter what he did in the time skip, because he didn't move, nothing happened. And the whole time he's just like, no, but like King Crimson, he had, like, I had a prediction. I used King Crimson. I had a prediction. I know that I win. I win, right? I win, right? And the battle cry of Muda 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 is where we end the episode. David Pro, for shame. How are you gonna leave me like that? How am I supposed to wait? This and Fruba, like, back to back, like, leaves us on a note where I'm like, how am I supposed to wait all this time to the next episode? At the very least, Fruits Basket comes out the next week. How in the hell am I supposed to wait till, like, whenever the hell, like, the finale comes? Like, I think it's like 2 weeks from now? How are you gonna leave me like that? Oof, man, happy to give this episode, you know what? I'm happy to give this episode a strong A to a light A-. Friggin' perfection. I'm happy. You know what? Screw the A. This gets an A+. Just strong, like just an impressive A+ for this episode. I am floored. That's wild. But on that note, everybody, I'm going to try to go calm down, and those are going to be my thoughts on this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the final one on Friday. JoJo's Friday is no more. But that's it, everybody. If you enjoyed today's video, then by all means, hitting that like button and sharing the video around on the internet, well, that would be super rad of you. And if you're new here and you want to check out more from me, then by all means, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join the good ones. And of course, before I go, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Dominic, Urza, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Omner Garamond, Opinionated Slime, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Tristan, and Veridon. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I will see you guys at the finale to Golden Wind. And until then, you stay rad and don't scary.